Just ahead on American Black Journal, all-star athletes, celebrities, and civic leaders team up to provide a happy Thanksgiving for Metro Detroiters in need of a helping hand. Plus, a unique approach to caring for people with mental disorders. Stay right there. American Black Journal starts now.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
For nearly 100 years, Ally has been a part of Detroit, and we give back by volunteering and donating in our community. We have a commitment to diversity and increasing economic mobility in our hometown. At Ally, we're dedicated to doing it right every single day.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. A group of all-star athletes, celebrities, and local officials is making sure that Metro Detroiters have a happy holiday season. The annual All-Star Give Back Thanksgiving edition takes place on November 20th at River Rouge High School. Organizers are planning to give away more than 5,000 turkeys and food baskets to disadvantaged Metro Detroit families. This is the 20th year for the event. Joining me now is the man behind the All-Star Give Back, Terrence Wheeler, along with former NBA player Derek Coleman. Welcome, both of you, to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
So the 20th year, that is impressive. Tell me how this got started and how you got involved.
It started, Derek was playing in the NBA, and I was just moving back to
I didn't know that. You played in the NBA?
A little bit, Steve, a little bit. And we were trying to figure out what can we do to improve the conditions of our community. As I was driving around our neighborhoods, I realized that folks were suffering. So I remember calling Derek and saying, well, we got to do something. So we started over in Linwood and Taylor with 200 turkeys. And now, 20 years later, we're doing 5,000.
Wow.
But it speaks to the need, how great the need is. And, poverty has no zip code.
I was going to say, you're doing this at River Rouge High School, which is in the suburbs.
Yes.
It's not as though when you cross the city border, you say goodbye to poverty.
Absolutely, because what happens is River Rouge is 10 minutes from downtown.
Yeah.
It's 3 freeway exits from downtown Detroit.
Right.
But yet, this is a population in the E-Course, River Rouge, Southwest Detroit, 48217 in particular, Stephen, with 25,000 people. There's no anchor grocery store, there's no bank, there's no dentist. There's a lack of resources in this community. So we say, you know what, how do we address the needs down there? Because this is a forgotten about area, yet those folks still need to be able to live a quality life each and every day.
Yeah. Derek, you're one of the celebrities involved in this.
Well, again, like Terrence said, we started, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just been incredible. We actually started in my neighborhood where I grew up at, and we moved all around the city. And then when Terrence took the opportunity to work out in River Rouge, we've been there for the last 5 years. But again, it's so many people out there that need the need. And Terrence didn't even comment or talk about the asthma situation and what you're dealing with right out there in River Rouge.
In River Rouge, air quality is something that is really terrible in that zip code for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
And if it affects kids differently.
Absolutely. It's just the quality of life.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to get to River Rouge. You come down Schaefer, there's a lot of potholes and things of that nature. Come down Jefferson, there's all kind of issues coming back the back route. At the end of the day, how do we wrap our arms around young people? The cultural capital that's needed. See, as children of poverty, we keenly understand what our young kids need.
Yeah.
You can't help the family if you don't help mom and daddy. So we can do all the services for young people, but you got to help mother and father each and every day.
Yeah.
And so we not only provide turkeys, this is health and human services as well in this event. So you got the FBI who does child application apps, because Michigan is number 2 or 3 in the country for human trafficking. The same need is there for DTE. They provide utility assistance. Wayne Metro provides renters assistance. So you're coming down to this event and you're getting more than just a meal. You're getting some true services that can be applicable to your day-to-day life.
Right, yes.
Hey, you do a lot of work with young people in the city.
All my life.
You always have, right?
It's been a passion of mine. I was raised that way. For the All-Star Give Back, what we do too, just through DC Elite and the basketball stuff that we do. So I have over 50 teams that play in my summer league every summer. So to teach kids about community service, we would have a repack. So we would go to Forgotten Harvest, and I invite all the teams to come out, girls and boys, and we'll repack all the food to take out to River Rouge the next day.
Wow.
So it's about just teaching kids, again, community service and giving back and helping.
Yeah. You do your own work with,
Yeah.
with young people all over the city.
Yeah,
as well.
all over the city. But you know, Steve, at the end of the day, man, when you're talking to young people and they know that you care, that you provide some empathy.
Yeah.
See, you look at Proverbs 13:4, it says, the soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of a diligent man shall be made rich. I may never be rich as Jay-Z or Bill Gates. However, I can be rich in empathy, rich in love, rich in resources for that particular community. Let them know that someone cares, because we've been there.
Yeah.
If you ever felt that pain, you know what it feels like to be evicted, to be hungry and homeless. You know what that feels like.
Lights,
Why would you,
gas.
got lights and gas off? Why would you want someone else to go through that? So you lift as you climb. And so we've been able to pull all our resources, grab the youngin' like Big Sean, who's a young guy, let him know what his duties and responsibilities are, and some other folks, and say, you know what, collectively we can get it done. And our slogan is, if not us, then who? If not now, then when?
Yeah. Talk about some of the other names you have for.
Man, we got the Hall of Famer, man, Gary Dwayne Payton flying in, the glove flying in with us, who's, you know, I played against in college, and him and Derek played in the NBA together.
Just drafted the same year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He's flying in. You know, Ron Harper. You got, of course, the bad boy, Rick Mahorn, Earl Curitan. You also got Barbara McQuaid, who's been a friend of ours for a number of years. You got the FBI, the special agent in charge. And so that showcases to the public that not only do you have athletes, you got law enforcement.
Right.
We're showing that this is not just where law enforcement takes your loved ones away. We're showing that we care about our community.
Yeah.
And we got corporate sponsors as well. You know, UAW comes out, they help us as well. GM comes out. Home Depot is there as well, you know. So I just feel that, you know, with me and Terrence, you never see everything that we do, but know this, we always
You're
behind the
doing
scenes.
a lot of things.
Oh, yes,
right.
without question.
How important is it to you, as somebody who grew up here, had an enormous amount of success that took you to all kinds of other places, but you're still here, and you're still involved?
Well, it's my DNA.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's been embedded in me my whole life through my family, you know, and I just feel that we have to share our relationships and our experience with our kids. So when I look at a kid, I see me.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
wide-eyed, trying to figure it out, don't know what to do. But I also have resources and relationships to help me through that process.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're just giving back to show kids that, hey, we understand your struggles and what you're going through, but we're also here to help you.
Do you feel like things are tougher for kids growing up in the city now than they were for
Yeah.
you? Really, you do?
Yes, I do. I just say I'm glad I didn't grow up in the social media era.
Yeah, well, right.
You know,
right. That
because a
changes
lot of
things.
kids, try to really emulate on social media who they really are, and that's not them at all.
Wow.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's a sad part that we're going through, but the mental side of it, and then just the lack of social services that our kids face day in and day out.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
we're here to just try to provide some of those services for those kids, but again, it takes a village no matter what we do.
Yeah, that retreat of social service. I mean, I was talking earlier this week with somebody about what the city was like when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, and all the things that we had that you could go do,
Yes.
even if you didn't have any money, even if you lived in the projects.
Yes.
There was a rec center
Thank
that
you.
had summer leagues and a pool.
Yes.
So you learn to swim. All of that stuff.
But you know what,
just
Stephen, man,
seems-
poverty is not just about money.
Right.
It limits access to people that can help you.
Yeah.
So if those people are no longer there, now you look at your options are slim. What are you going to do for free time? Social media now makes you think, well, I want to emulate that lifestyle.
Yes.
I want this car. I want this. It plays into your social image. So you got to have adults in your life. Their success, the success of children is predicated on adult participation. Who's going to stand in the gap? Who's going to love that young person past their pain? It's not enough for you to like them. You got to love these young people and believe in them that all children can learn, that all children can be successful. And once you are successful, we demand that you be significant.
Yeah. And you do a lot of work making sure that that happens, not just around the
Right,
holidays.
that's absolutely.
But-
You're all year long. Every man, contrary to belief, every day is count day.
Yeah, right.
Every day is count
That's a
day,
great
man. As an
phrase,
adult, every day
right?
is count
That's
day.
right.
You can't fool these kids with barbecue chicken and some macaroni.
pizza.
Yes.
Show up
These
today, but
children
I'll
need
go back
underwear.
tomorrow, right.
These young ladies need pads and panty liners. They need coats. They need winter hats. They need gloves. These babies are doing the best they can to get to one loving champion who's going to be able to assist me to the next day, to the next day. You get these kids to the 10th grade, man, I promise you, they can graduate.
Yeah. Right. They can do it.
Yeah.
It's a trust
They just
factor.
need the
You know,
opportunity.
you got to be in a situation where you can trust.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for our kids to really let their guard down to trust because they're dealing with so many other social issues.
Yeah. Do you remember one or two things or people that for you or the difference between, you know?
Well, people might not know. Originally, I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Right.
You know, I moved to Detroit when I was 13 years old. My uncle brought me here, you know, 12th and Hazelwood, you know. But I was fortunate in my life to have that father figure, because I don't know, my father to this day bothers me every day.
Yeah.
You know, but I was introduced to Mayor Dade Bean.
Yeah, right.
And
No.
he's been an influence in my life still to this day. You know, the reason I went to Syracuse was because Mayor
where you
Bean
went.
exposed me to that as a kid growing up. You know, I thought Niagara Falls was on the West Coast until I was going to basketball camp, and I'm like, what is that? And he was like, Derek, that's Niagara Falls.
That's Niagara Falls.
And we toured Niagara Falls. Then I went on to basketball camp at Syracuse.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So he's still an influential part of my life to this day. And again, when you see somebody like that, who never mind the basketball and all the other accolades, that who really cares about you genuinely, he just passes on. All me and Terrence doing is passing the torch.
That's it.
Yeah.
You lift as you climb.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give a lot of love to Perry Watson, who was my high school
Right.
coach.
Yes.
Who held us accountable academically, not just athletically,
Right.
academically.
Go to class.
Yes, go to class. And that he always said, use basketball, don't let basketball use you.
Right.
And 99% of our players from Southwestern High School got college degrees. I don't want to talk about Roll Tide with this guy from Alabama. You know what I mean? But, you know.
That's another show.
That's another show.
Yeah, that's a whole
That's
other
another
show. We gonna roll Detroit.
That's right. Roll Detroit instead. I like that better. All right, Terrence and Derek, thanks very much for being here, and congratulations
Thank you,
on
man. Thank you for
20
having
years
us.
with this great
Appreciate
event.
it.
Thank you,
Yes,
man.
Thank you.
Up next, the state of mental health in Wayne County. But first, we continue our look back at this program over the last 50 years. Here's a 1991 Detroit Black Journal discussion about encouraging young people to volunteer, led by host Dennis Archer.
One of the things, if I've heard it once, I've heard it maybe 8 or 9 times in the last week or so, and that is our young people seemingly are more takers rather than givers. Are there any programs that either one of you know of that encourages volunteerism that you're talking about, that if someone wanted to call up and say, where do I call? I've got a son at home who is 15 years of age, or a daughter at home who's 15 years of age, and I want her to be able to start giving back to our community.
Well,
what church group, organization, or who is handling these kinds of things?
I'll start by saying that for us, for example, we have something called the College Club, which is the young people between the ages of, let me say 9th through 12th graders. And in that, we encourage volunteerism as well as a number of other things that we do with them, like SAT preparation and ACT test preparation, a number of other things. But volunteerism is something that we try to stress upon them. I know New Detroit has the Youth Caucus, and I think that's something that happens with the young people within the Youth Caucus. And I'm sure that somehow or another through the City Council Youth Commission that there's another place for volunteerism. Lynn may be better able to say if there's one place where you can call. But I recall that even schools used to have a provision that young people had to do 200 hours, and that there were counselors within the school system attempting to help facilitate young people finding places that they can do volunteerism.
Lynn, anything come to your mind?
Yeah, there are a number of ways that young people can plug into volunteer programs. One resource to get more information is through the United Community Services Center for Volunteerism. And they do have a youth entity of that center that focuses specifically on youth and youth activities. United Community Services also has a volunteerism program where they're working with a number of young people in the metro area doing volunteer service throughout the city. There's the American Red Cross, which has a very elaborate volunteer program for youth. Not only in terms of plugging youth into volunteer experiences, but also provides various kinds of leadership development program. The Chamber of Commerce most recently started a program for young people that's similar to for youth that's similar to the Chamber's adult program, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It escapes me right now. So, and that's just
I've
the
got
tip
one
of the
to stump
iceberg.
all of you. I've got
Okay.
one that'll stump you. Maybe. I hope not. Is there any program that you know of that encourages young people to save a dime, a quarter, 50 cents to give back to someone or some entity that is less fortunate, some person less fortunate, or something like the United Negro College Fund, United Way, Michigan Cancer Foundation, Black United
You
Fund?
may have successfully stumped me on that.
But is that something that you think that we ought to have within our black community?
I think it's important because just like we're saying to encourage volunteerism, we have to encourage people to give to one another and give back, because we can't just be a country or a nation or a city of takers.
It's estimated that more than 44 million adults in this country have a mental health condition, and all too often mental illness is stigmatized or misunderstood in the African American community. The Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority is working to improve the state of mental health in this region by offering services and support to more than 80,000 people. My next guest was named CEO of the agency earlier this year. I'd like to welcome Willie Brooks to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the invitation.
80,000 people in Wayne County that you're serving. I mean, that's a staggering number in and of itself.
Yes, it is. That represents roughly 26% of the mental health population that's being treated under community mental health in the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine there's a range of treatment and interaction with those people. It's not all the same thing.
No, it's not. You know, we have a variety of services that many people are not really aware of. For example, autism, substance use, along with mental illness, developmental disabilities, for all ages, from children to seniors, all walks of life.
Yeah.
There's no discrimination. You know, roughly 18%, 1 out of every 5 people have some type of mental illness, and it doesn't discriminate regardless of economic conditions, race, creed, or any type of background.
Yeah. We made a horrible mistake in this state, in my opinion, 25 some years ago, when we decided that the state was no longer going to have the kind of commitment to providing mental health services that it had for decades before. And I'm always really curious to talk to people who are working in that space about what that looks like now, all this time later. More people seem to recognize that we made the mistake. Are we doing the things that we should do to fill the gaps that opened up?
We are doing some of the things, but it is a constant battle. You know, we're dealing with the most vulnerable citizens in the state. The individuals that we work with are individuals who need to be protected, need to be supported. There's a lot of things that we do as a safety net for the community. So it's different than just your normal office visit or just your normal form of care. It's really an outreach that goes out to enhance the lives of individuals who really would not have a lot of means of support in different other ways.
Yeah. I also feel like for a lot of people, this gets confused by the extent to which homelessness is sort of taken over as the primary service provider almost for people who suffer from this. I mean, a lot of the people you see out on the streets, living under freeways, those kind of things, are people who really just need these services. And a lot of people think, well, they need a job, they need a house. They're not thinking that that person really needs some help.
Right. Yeah, and there's 3 forms that you can tell in which they're taking over. One is homelessness, as you mentioned. The other is the correction system.
Right.
You know, we have a large amount of people in the misdemeanor correction system. Over 80% at one point have some interaction with mental illness. And then the third thing is our hospitals and our emergency rooms. And one of the issues that I see that always creates this problem is that people are concerned about how it impacts them versus how the person with the mental illness is being impacted.
Being impacted, wow.
Right.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of the things that you're providing for this population that people might not know about?
Right. Well, we're actually excited about some of the changes that are going on. We're in the midst now of what we call system transformation, in which we're putting holistic care first. And what holistic care does, it looks at that whole person, those basic 5 elements, which is behavioral health, physical health, economic, social, and spiritual health. You know, we've learned in the past that just looking at someone's mental illness and not looking at the fact that that person is homeless, or that person doesn't have a job, or that person doesn't have a support group in their life, the job is not complete. So we're establishing a provider network, a philosophy that we can partner with key people to make sure all of those different needs are addressed in one way or form.
Yeah. Are there specific challenges in the department that you're focused on meeting and improving in the short term?
Well, you know, we always struggle with the fact that many people view the mental health program as a welfare program in which the solution is someone just needs to find a job.
Yeah.
And that is not the case at all.
Right.
This is a long obligation that we had when we switched from an institutionalized system to a community system in which we believe that people should be included in society and that people should have choice in society. Those are some of just the basic rights that any individual should have.
Should have.
You know, the freedom of choice and the freedom of being included is some of the basic rights.
Yeah. In the intro, I talked about how this is a different challenge in some ways in the African American community. Talk about why that's so.
Well, the difference is, one, you know, we recognize the fact that there is no discrimination as it relates to mental illness itself. Some of the additional challenges that we have in African communities is the fact that the support groups are not as strong. And that includes family support groups, some of the social support groups, and the awareness. The more we are more aware of what's going on, and the more we can fight the stigma associated with it and educating individuals, the better we are all served. I would say that the most important thing that we could do is for people to speak up, to get help early, to not be ashamed, not to feel isolated that they're dealing with something. If someone had high blood pressure or if someone had a broken arm, they would get assistance.
Yeah.
But if someone is bipolar or if someone is struggling with depression, they should have that same sense of respect and urgency to get assistance. And that is what we need in our community to promote those things versus stigmatize those types of things.
Yeah. How do you go about making that cultural change, though? I mean, that has its roots really deeply in parts of the African American community.
Well, one thing helps is appearing on shows like this, you know, making people aware of what's going on. We've invested for the first time quite a bit of funds in advertising and making known what we do, letting people know that we are here to listen, that we are here to help, that we are a resource. Many people are not aware of some of the services that we provide. I believe that education is key, making people aware of that fact that there is help out there and that it's not something to be ashamed of, but it's something that can actually be treated and improved on.
Tell us a little about you before you took over this post earlier this year.
Well, this is something that I love to do. You know, for the last 30 years or so, I've been involved with healthcare, human services, either working on the physical health side or the mental health side. And it's a job that I love. You know, I often tease my board that this is something that I would probably do for free because I love it so much. With a little emphasis on probably.
Right, probably. That might not work out so well for you, right?
But it's a great work. You know, it's an opportunity to give directly back to community, to seek improvement. And some of the things that I feel that is important in this job is you have to understand the political aspect. You have to understand the business side of the aspect. You know, so I bring a business side along with a psychology side that I think that is so important. You know, we have to communicate in a data-driven method so that people understand that they're getting a return on investment when they invest in individual lives. So something I love to do.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the
Thank you.
post, and good luck with the work.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can go to AmericanBlackJournal.org to get more information on our guests and to check out a calendar of upcoming events. And you can also always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
As American Black Journal looks ahead at the next 50 years, we want to hear from you, the viewers. Tell us what you think of this program and what you'd like to see on future episodes. Visit AmericanBlackJournal.org to take a quick survey and share your opinion. Thank you.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, Craft-Made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
For nearly 100 years, Ally has been a part of Detroit, and we give back by volunteering and donating in our community. We have a commitment to diversity and increasing economic mobility in our hometown. At Ally, we're dedicated to doing it right every single day.